Chrissy, the realty queen. Buying, selling, staging, she's the best you've ever seen. Oh, it's Chrissy, the OG Denton realtor. She's your one-stop shop, local expert and more. It's Chrissy Mallouf, and she does it all with a smile. It's Chrissy.
Welcome, everybody. Another episode of the It's Chrissy podcast. I'm John Mallouf.
I'm Chrissy Mallouf.
And we have a special guest today.
Very special.
Very special, huh?
Yeah.
Michael Tull. I'm with Guarantee Bank and Trust.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I appreciate you guys inviting me.
Yeah,
you know,
why would we not?
I love stuff like this.
I know, because you can talk forever.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's why we're going to have a timer.
And
You have your
and
own
guys
podcast, right?
And you guys were like, John, you were my first like real boss.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That's true. And I think we should tell some fun stories. I mean,
Oh, well.
they keep it clean stories, but some of the
Oh God.
well, I mean, y'all would play pranks all the time on everybody and each other. And,
Oh, my God. The worst was whenever we worked together, that's right when iPhones came out. Like,
Oh yeah.
and so we were all like excited, like, oh, I got an iPhone, and you had to sign for them, so we'd have to send them to work because they would deliver them in the afternoon. And if you weren't at home, they would not drop it off. So I would have it sent to work, and I get a notification. I was at lunch one day. I got a notification on my email and it said, your iPhone was delivered. And I was like, oh, my God, that's so awesome. Because I was on a BlackBerry.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so great. This is so great. I can't wait to get to the office. I get to the office, and I'm like, no, it's nowhere to be found. And I'm sitting there. I don't know if it was Brady. Somebody kept on looking up, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
what? And I look up on top of the door, like way up, like 15 feet up in the air. There's a little UPS box, and I'm like, you asshole.
And you know
Beep.
what's so frustrating
Yeah,
is that
beep.
like all the fun of like getting something new like that, we totally robbed the joy.
Yes,
100%. 100%.
That was our ultimate
Yeah.
goal. I mean,
Yeah.
we robbed the joy from things like the credit union would buy us like lunch for the day. We'd have hot dogs. we would. I can't remember what the story was with the hot dogs, but I remember Blake taking a picture, and I think he acted like he ate all the hot dogs that the credit union had delivered or something.
I ate 7 one day, and I felt like I was dying.
Gosh. Oh, my gosh.
I laid under my desk for like 30 minutes because I was trying not to vomit. It was awful.
Oh my God!
that's
It's
bad.
amazing that we didn't get fired. I felt like
Seriously.
most of the time we would go. I'd have a managers meeting once a month, and I would go to that meeting, and they would be talking about issues around the credit union, and my boss would tell us stuff, and I'd be like, I'd look around the table, and I was like, wonder what branch they're talking about. And then it got to the point where he would be talking about issues, and I'm like, oh, that's me. Oh, that's our branch. Uh-oh. And then the meeting ended, and John looked at us, and he goes, all right, guys, y'all have a great week. He goes, John, stay behind.
It got to the point where we used to call it, and this is unverified, but we nicknamed the North Branch Death Row
Yeah.
because there was like 4 or 5 of us that were regulars there.
Yeah.
Me, you, AJ, Brady, Shauna.
Yeah.
I think that was it. It was us. And then there was always somebody else that they would rotate in because there was something about the chaos of the North Branch that like people couldn't quite.
It was chaotic.
Yeah.
Right.
If you weren't good at your job, you were going to screw up at the North Branch.
Yeah. Or there was.
So they would send people there.
That's true. I
Knowing
remember
that,
that.
man, if they weren't
Yeah.
good, they were going to get hacked in like 60 days.
If they can't get along over there, then we need to get rid of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it sucked because people were scared of the branch. Oh, yeah. And it was bad.
People walk in, they'd be like, "I'm so happy to be here," and we'd be like,
All right. Well, don't unpack your box.
"That's right, that's right."
And the worst part about it is the way they would do terminations is like we'd have to I'd have to call Michael and AJ and be like, all right, HR's coming over here, so whenever they do, go ahead and grab so and so's stuff and start boxing it up. And so we'd call the person in the office, and they'd be sitting there, and then I had this little window, and I could see them like stacking boxes up. And one time the person had like 8 boxes of personal stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I was so horrible. I was young, so it was like you have like the angel and the devil on each shoulder,
Yeah.
and like
Always went with the devil.
Some people would get in there, and you'd be like, "Man, I love this guy. This guy's gonna get fired in 2 weeks. No chance he's gonna make it out of this."
Ugh.
And then you'd be so sad, and then sometimes the person would be there, and they would just frustrate the living crap out of you, and you'd be like, "Man, I can't wait till they show up one Friday afternoon."
I get it. I get it.
It was pretty
Yeah,
bad.
it was.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
It was pretty bad. And there was one guy that his fiance, she worked for the credit union too. And so she was there, and she was doing really well. She was really popular, and he was not. And
He was not.
So it finally got to the point where it was time for him to go. And so we let him go. And a couple weeks later was our Christmas party. Well, he comes to the Christmas party as a guest of his fiance. And so we're sitting there talking with our big boss, and Michael just looks at him and goes, "This is really awkward. Didn't you just get fired?"
I mean,
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
The Christmas parties were fun though.
they were
And they always had like really good giveaways. And like, yeah,
oh, yeah.
we would win some great
so
stuff.
good.
Yeah, we won a
They still
cruise,
do that?
I think. I don't
I'm
know.
sure
I'm
they
sure they
do.
still do. Their
They
Christmas parties were awesome.
laptop.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we won some. You
iPad.
won like some fish fry kit. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like, yeah, we have
Like the deep fryer. We haven't used that. It's just been
It's
sitting
still
in my
sitting in the
garage.
corner of our garage.
It's like
10
a
years.
cast.
Yeah, seriously,
at
yeah.
least.
It's still in the box. We probably should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Pull
what
it
was
out.
that? That was 2000 and I was there from 2008 to 2013. So it's been
Oh
been
my
over
gosh.
10 years.
Yeah.
12 years since I was.
God.
Yeah. Means I'm getting old.
Mm-hmm.
You are.
Yeah.
He was just a baby whenever he started with us. And you were
He
a
was in
teller
college.
for me. Now, did you start
yeah.
at my branch?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. Nice.
Oh, yeah. I did.
Yeah, you can kind of say you kind of molded him into like the man he is now. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
Is that
a good
what
thing.
happened?
I don't know. Yeah, you helped build him.
I think that's what happened to me. I think it
know,
was,
yeah.
yeah, that was it.
I don't know if that's a good thing or
I don't
not,
mean
right?
I don't mean
Yeah.
to open a fresh wound, but what happened to Oklahoma yesterday?
Oh, man. That was heartbreaking.
Oh, sorry.
We
God,
we were
so
watching
close.
that.
So close.
To tech.
Yes.
They paid $1 million for that girl.
$1 million. Kennedy. We tried to get her. We just didn't offer $1 million.
They gave her $1 million. So the dude, the Texas Tech booster, he sold his company like in January, February for $4 billion.
God.
He's the biggest single booster to Texas Tech. So this is the first thing. You won't be the last. Texas Tech is about to start winning at everything because he's just going to throw
They got
money,
that Nike money
100%. 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
God.
crazy.
He's got unbelievable money.
It is crazy because
She's the first girl to ever get $1 million in softball.
and we smoked her a couple years ago, but of course we had Jordy Ball, and then Nebraska paid her. Oklahoma's paying, but they're just not paying softball players yet. We're gonna have
Yeah,
to.
but
We hadn't had to, but
okay. So y'all talk sports. Do y'all like NIL? What are your thoughts on it?
It's horrible.
I don't like it either.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It
ru-
is.
I think it's
ruined
changed
it.
the game.
Yeah, no doubt.
I always thought that they should get paid something.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's got to have a cap. I mean, the NFL has a salary cap. You have like contracts. So we had the big Caden Green, that big offensive tackle that came to OU, and after his freshman year, he transferred to Missouri because they paid him more money than we did. It's like, dude, we were paying you over $1 million to play football for us. You should have signed a contract that said you're going to at least stay for 2-3 years. Like, come on.
I read a deal yesterday that Cooper Flagg coming out of Duke, he signed. So he played 1 year at Duke, so he's 19, and he signed two deals when he started at Duke. They don't know if it's the total value or if it's a multi-year value, but the value of his 2 NIL deals is $28 million.
Oh my God,
That's freaking
that's nuts.
Yeah.
nuts.
He's gonna go make like $60 million as a 1-1 overall with the Mavs. But he was gonna make $28 million. They think it's over 4 years, so it's $7 million a year. But $7 million a year at 19, 20, 21, and 22.
These guys are going to lose money going to the pros.
Yeah,
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, because they're only
bunch of them will.
yeah, and so Oklahoma actually hired a guy. I can't think of where he came from, but he came from a big corporate job, and now his deal is to manage the NIL dollars. So he went in and almost bit us in the butt this year because we had that big defensive tackle that we have, that David Stone, and he didn't get a lot of playing time last year because he was a true freshman. And so they reevaluated his NIL contract, And so he just said, all right, that's fine. I'll go to the transfer portal. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, hold on.
What I honestly think it's going to create is all these kids are going to go. They're actually going to go like the Alabamas, the football programs, or even the big baseball programs, basketball programs. They're going to actually split off. They're not going to be students anymore. What's going to happen is that all those big schools, OU, Texas, Alabama, Ohio State, they're going to get together, the best 30, and they're going to go, these kids don't need to go to school. They're not, what's the value of their education really?
Yeah.
We're giving it to them basically.
They're not going to be a teacher.
Right.
Yeah.
We're giving them a tutor. They're not passing the tests anyway.
True.
Yeah.
We're going to
True.
go pay them $5 million.
Or going to class.
And they're going to be their own league. And they're going to have their own little Premier League type of deal for college football, and they're going to make a whole bunch of money. And, I mean, but by the time those kids do that, even if they make $2 million over 4 years, it changes the rest of your life to have $2 million at 22 years old.
Yeah.
The rest of your life's a hell of a lot easier at that point.
Yeah. And it was starting to get a little bit better before NIL came in. It was starting to get a little bit better whenever they were the size of the rosters were being cut down, and you had to split money between all of your programs, your athletic programs. It was starting to be a little bit better because you got a kid that is not quite the Texas Longhorn caliber, was coming to North Texas,
Right.
And so now that's gone away. Now it's just like North Texas doesn't have the money to compete.
Yep.
We got to figure out how to way to get into the donor pockets here, and that's
Michael
really
Tull.
tough. Yeah, there goes Michael Tull, man.
Alumni.
Hey man, when you come play for Texas, North Texas. Here's $44. You're gonna be really good. I'm pulling for you. Well, the big thing is that we'll find those kids, right? Those kids that were really good that went somewhere that there was 5 other guys at their position at Oklahoma. Well, they're like, well, I'm not going to get to play, so I'm going to go to North Texas for a year, and then they play really, really well because they're good.
Yeah.
And then Missouri does come in and pay them $1 million. So that, to me, that's the bigger thing for North Texas, or the smaller programs, is that you're going to get those guys, but it's in such a short term that it's hard to make your program, valuable over a long period of time.
Yeah, speaking of Missouri, our son hates Missouri.
Like, wouldn't even get out of the car. Wouldn't even
Yes.
get out of the car when we rolled
we
up
went
there.
to Furrow Field. Is that what their field's called? We went to Furrow
He
Field,
sat in
and
the
it's like
car, pouted.
so. One of the things that we do when we're on trips is if we're in a town that has a major university,
Yeah.
we always go and check out the stadium and check out and usually buy some swag. I've got some swag. Now there's a couple places that I'm not going to wear the swag. I'm not going to wear Longhorn stuff.
Is this where I got that from? I get stuff everywhere that I go, but there's some places that I'm like, I want it, but I'm never going to wear it.
Right.
Okay, this is your fault.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean the big one was it last year? Last year we were in Lincoln. We went to Nebraska, and I was looking at it, and they had some killer old Nebraska stuff at the student union building, and I was like, you know what? I'll never wear it. As a matter of fact, I played football with a guy that was All-American at Nebraska. Won their last national championship. He was on that team, and I was friends with him on Facebook. And we walk outside, and they had a statue of Tom Osborne, and I took off my OU hat and put it on the statue, and he deleted me.
Did he really?
He did.
Oh, ouch. That's a little petty.
Yeah, I was going to reach out to him because the new football coach here in Denton is trying to get some of the old guys to come back and talk to the kids, and I was like, well, I'll just reach out to Aaron, and he deleted me.
Couldn't find him. Couldn't find Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
How's a subtle plug? How's Uncle Gary?
Oh, it'd be great to
Yeah.
have him on this because
Oh, my
gosh.
he's a plethora of information.
Yes.
He remembers every football play he's ever seen.
Yeah. And
He'll be
rock
like, "Oh, you
concerts.
remember whenever so and so had that run? He went down the right side of the field and he cut on the 30." And no, I don't remember.
Man, I met Drew Brees' third ex-girlfriend.
Yeah,
You know him. Oh, that's so him. Yes, I love it. Oh, that is funny. Like, it's literally, he just texted me when you were sitting here. I was like, Uncle Gary just texted me. You were
I
sitting here.
didn't-
So
yeah, I
that's funny. What a small world.
I don't know what made
Yeah.
you said something that made me think about him. I don't know what it was.
Sure, it was football or like
Yeah.
Yeah.
doing something. I don't know. Yeah.
How's real estate?
Well, it's real estate. I'm surviving.
Would you do 7 in April or
yeah.
May?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's not a lot. Not compared to
7's a lot.
I guess. But it's hard when you have, like, what's killing me, that's what we're talking about, is having so many listings right now.
Right.
And people not understanding it was never a normal market to sell a house that quick. And then you have to be able to negotiate. And so I have a couple sellers that aren't willing to negotiate, and I'm just about to let them go because at the end of the day, you have offers.
Right.
I've done my job for the contract to bring you an offer.
Yeah.
And I've marketed the property, so...
And if they're not willing to negotiate, it's costing you money.
it is costing me money. And
Like,
that's
not selling. It's not your job.
That's it. So it's hard. I think that's the people pleaser in me right now, is having a hard time with every single day, like getting a text or a call, like, why isn't my house sold? And so, but that's also like, maybe I need to work on my systems better for like a better Monday update to where I'm sitting. If it's just, but it's hard when you have 30 to manage them all. So that's where I need to do better.
It's admirable to think that,
Yeah,
but
I'm
I mean, let's be realistic. Whenever you have 30, you have how many listings do you have?
About like 32 probably.
You have 30 listings because you're good at selling houses.
Yeah.
So it's not like the two guys that are on your ass about selling their house today or they're not
And
right.
I think it's like, I look back years ago when it was not as crazy as it was, like, it was normal for a house to be on the market 4 to 5 months. And you have that one weekend, you'd have 2 random people come to town, and you could get a bidding war. Not crazy bidding war, but you could get close to list price or a little bit over. Like, you still had, and then, like, I've had some houses where we've only had 3 showings, but that one buyer that came in the 3rd time fell in love with the house. Like, that's, that can happen. So it's just, I think
How many times did a house was about to fall off, the listing was about to expire, and you sold it on the last day?
Oh yeah.
That's happened.
It's happened, yeah.
A lot.
It is. It's just, I don't know. I think that's just, and then like we were talking about earlier, it's like the media doesn't help. The TV, everything makes it look so easy.
Right, makes it look glorious.
Yeah, and it's not glorious. They don't see, like he was talking about, I literally came home late last night. We had a frozen pizza, right, for dinner, and I was still working. I mean,
Well, you had a frozen pizza because you're not good at cooking. But
that's true. Okay, so that's 2 back-to-back episodes where I suck at cooking. Yeah. Okay, so so we didn't talk about the stories. Y'all can talk about my funny stories of cooking, because you two love those the best.
My favorite one, I don't know. My favorite one's Manwich,
Oh,
for sure.
the Manwich story. Well, I guess we have to fill everybody in then.
Yes.
So I was a commercial banker at Point Bank. Yeah, I was at Point Bank, and Chrissy and I were newly married, and we had a board meeting in Pilot Point one night, and I was at this board meeting, and this is crazy because we were texting, but we had flip phones.
Flip phones.
Yeah, it wasn't as easy you had to hit like 4 times to get a X. But
It's like 10 cents a text message.
yeah, for
Seriously.
real.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting in this board meeting, and I am starving. And I get this text message is like, hey, I made Manwich. And I was like, oh my God, I hadn't had Manwich since I was a kid. I was kind of excited. I was like, oh, Manwich, this is going to be great.
Sloppy Joe.
Sloppy Joe. And so I was so excited. I left the meeting. I drive home. It's nighttime now, and Chrissy's like,
I had a headache. I had migraine so bad.
You sent me another text message like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and go to bed. The Manwiches are in the microwave. And so I went in there, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna eat 2 of these bad boys right now. And so I made 2 Manwiches. And I sit down on the couch to watch TV, and I take a bite of this Manwich, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the most awful thing I have ever eaten in my entire life. And I just took both of them, went to the trash, and just threw them away, and probably ate a bowl of cereal. So I went to bed, and when I get to bed, Chrissy rolls over, and she's like, did you get to eat? And I was like, yeah. And then she's like, how'd you like it? And I was like, you know what? If I told her I like it, she's going
to do it again.
She's going to make Manwiches again. Like maybe 3 times a week. And I was like, Chrissy, that was the worst thing in the world. I was like, that tasted just like hamburger meat and tomato sauce. And she's like, oh my God, I forgot to put the Manwich mix in it.
It was hamburger meat. Yeah.
That's so gross. It's so gross. It's so bad.
And as successful as Chrissy is, like you would think that like we would have like these big nice dinners every night, and
I grew up poor.
yeah,
Me
so
too.
Chrissy,
Yeah, I bought the cheap stuff.
yeah, Chrissy, yeah, she buys the cheap stuff. If there's 2 options, she's gonna buy the worst one, the worst option. And
She's not buying Hamburger Helper.
nope, that's where I'm going with it. Yep.
Oh, Berkshire's.
So we didn't get hamburger helper. We got hamburger podna.
You got to save 17 cents.
Yeah. I'm like, hamburger helper costs like 80 cents a box.
Right.
Hamburger podna probably costs $4 for $1. Yeah. And it really is podna. It was like PADNUH.
Yeah.
It was
Hamburger
that,
podna.
Oh, it was great.
You can look it up. I've looked up hamburger podna.
Yeah. John would get so frustrated with me because I still am bad about that. Like I don't know if it's just when you grow up eating the way you eat. I buy stuff sometimes. He's like, oh my gosh.
I mean, she'll go. She'll go to the store and she'll be like, "Do you want anything?" I'm like, "Yeah." Will you bring me a Gatorade? And so instead of getting orange do Gatorade really have flavors? They do. Tropical punch, orange, lemon lime.
I'm from East Texas. We called them by the color.
Oh yeah, we did too.
Can I get a red? Perfect.
Yeah.
It's not fruit punch.
And that's what we
red.
call Kool-Aid too. We call Kool-Aid by the color.
No
Like,
doubt.
can I get a purple? But yeah, if you tell her, like, give me Gatorade, you got to be very specific what Gatorade you want, or you're going to get a lemon, cucumber, jalapeno flavor. She'll have a choice of two, and it's always going to be the wrong one.
Right. The worst one you could possibly pick.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think lunch meat used to pickle me because I would buy like the Carl Budding turkey.
See, I grew up on Carl
Like
Budding,
I like that
though.
stuff, and like you're talking about, it's like the.
But I thought after I was 8 years old, I was past Carl Budding, but not until I got married.
Ramen noodles. I still buy. Like I like stuff like that, but I guess it's like you can't eat them anymore.
I can eat some cheap
And John
stuff.
won't eat fish sticks. I like fish sticks.
Oh, no.
Like yeah, you can't do it.
Every once in a while, I will be at Sam's or something, and I'll go to buy something, and Steph will be like, "We're not buying that." And I'm like, "Why not?" She's like, "Because that's disgusting." I'm like, this is what I grew up eating.
Like Totino's pizza. I like. He won't eat
I will
Totino's.
eat-
I will eat a
yeah.
Totino's pizza. John won't. He
And I
likes
will-
frozen
And
pizza.
so the key to Totino's is you grate like a handful of fresh cheese and put more
He
cheese on
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's the only way you can eat it.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Hey, you know what else is that I ate when I was a kid? I don't eat as an adult was those French bread pizzas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, I don't know where they.
They're kind of like I know what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about, but I don't know what
Yeah,
it's called.
like Red Baron French bread.
They still make
pizza.
those. I think.
Were they
yeah.
Red Baron? Red Baron?
I don't know if they were. I think they're always right next to the Red Baron. What is it? Stouffer's.
Is that what it is? I can't remember.
Yeah, those things I used to eat those like crazy. They're like Hot Pockets. They'll burn the shit out of the top of your mouth.
But see, I think our kids are spoiled because they don't have to eat like we like they're
No,
they're
my
so
kids
used
do.
to eating out. Really,
No,
because
my
our
kids
kids.
do.
Okay, that's. I wish ours
yeah.
were like our like. Growing up, like I ate Vienna sausage. I mean, things like my kids would be like, "Oh my god, they're so
Vienna
grossed out. I
sausage.
can't."
Yeah.
Yeah, but now I'm like, ugh. But it's like they would. I don't know. Like they eat like chicken nuggets and frozen stuff like that. But other than that, like they're spoiled to having the luxury of eating out a lot. Like
Remember Chad Locke?
yeah,
Yeah.
I love
Remember
Chad.
Chad Locke?
Yeah.
We were doing something one night, and Chad swore, he was like, "Man, when I was a kid, we'd eat Vienna sausage, and I'd drink the jelly."
Oh!
Gross.
And you know me, I'm
You're
like,
do it.
and
Do
I'm
it.
like, "No way." He's like, "Absolutely." I was like, "Let's go. We're going to the store." So we go. He's like, "I get to pick it out." I'm like, "All right, cool." He picks out what I would argue is probably the worst flavor to try to do this. He picks out the jalapeno Vienna sausage.
Oh no.
So we go home and we take all the Vienna sausage out, and he's like, all right, and he's just so committed. He's so committed to it, but he was
sick.
lying through his teeth, and he took this shot, and he was just like,
That's the Okie in
took
him.
a shot of the jelly.
Oh, that's awful. Oh,
Yeah,
gross.
that's his Oklahoma roots. Because my dad liked Vienna sausage. My dad always had that, and he always had. I mean, every time you would eat a meal, he had grape Kool-Aid. I mean, we had grape Kool-Aid,
Real Kool-Aid with that.
and he never got tired of it. Like, I'll go through a grape Kool-Aid phase where I'll
You
drink
do.
it.
You
in
go
a
buy new
while,
pitchers because we can't find our pitchers, and you load
Yeah.
up on it. Yeah.
and then, but
do
then
that
I
with-
get burned out.
I do that with lemonade too. I'll go make a whole thing
Yeah.
of lemonade.
So great.
Yeah, you do.
Drink
It,
it,
yeah,
yeah.
typically during summer.
But not Vienna sausage
Oh.
jelly.
God.
Sick. Yeah, that's bad.
And then in all of our travels that we've had throughout the years, you get over to Hawaii and they charge you a premium and they're basically serving you spam on everything. And it's like, they love spam. Like you go into 7-Eleven instead of what do they call those, big bites? They would have spam. Like, oh,
Yeah,
You
you,
know
can
what,
tell John doesn't like food in Hawaii.
So I'm not against spam. I grew up eating spam, so I'll fry some
Yeah.
spam. I'm not anti-spam, But the rich man's version of eating Spam is frying your own bologna.
Oh.
And John loves fried bologna.
love
You
fried
do you?
bologna.
Okay, John likes
Our
fried
kids
bologna.
don't eat bologna. That's we were talking about that the other day.
Yeah,
They
because
don't
we'll
eat
buy some
bologna,
during
and I'm like,
summer, and we'll eat a bologna sandwich by the pool, and they're like, "Oh, that's so gross."
Oh yeah.
But, I'm
Me and
like,
Steph
"Oh,
are
I
going
did."
to Nashville in July, and there's this one bar in Nashville that's got the recession special. The recession special is $3, and you get a bologna sandwich and a PBR.
oh my
Nice,
God.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Pat's Blue Ribbon.
I love it. That's great. That's
I
great.
can't wait to go spend $3.
Can't wait to see that picture.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
you're like, can I get two,
Just
please?
stacking peanut
Yeah.
butter jelly.
That's
stacking
awesome.
bologna.
Oh my
Recession
gosh, that's
special.
crazy.
Someplace in Denton needs to do that. That's genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I'll stick with the
Yeah.
New York recession special.
Where what is $29 instead of 30?
No, it was like $5 and you get
Oh,
you get a hot dog
Yes.
and a papaya juice,
Yes, I do like that place. Yeah.
or 2 hot dogs and a papaya juice. Yeah,
That's a pretty good deal,
yeah.
actually.
We were there eating one day, and it was at night, and I looked across, and there was another hot dog place who was trying to rip off this one, and I looked over there, and I was like, "Hey, that's the guy from The Sopranos," and so I pull out my camera and I take a picture of this guy eating a hot dog, and I found him online on Facebook or something, and I was like, "Do you really like this place better?" And sent him a picture of him eating a hot dog. And then I get a friend request from him. I'm like, "Oh my God." So I'm still friends with Louis Lombardi.
Yep.
Yep,
one
from
of
The
the mob-
Sopranos. Yeah. And he'll comment on like a Facebook post every once in a while. And that's one of the things me and Michael used to do whenever Twitter first started.
Oh yeah.
We used to like try to go after celebrities and see who could get a response.
Oh yeah.
Who was your most famous
Mark Cuban.
Mark
Oh,
Cuban?
that's cool.
Mark Cuban was my best one.
My best one was Henry Winkler. It's like,
Oh my god.
yeah, who's going to be playing Rex Cobble in the Cowboy Mafia movie?
I had Tyson Chandler too after the Mavs won the NBA championship in 2011. I had Tyson Chandler. I said something to somebody, but I tagged Tyson Chandler, and he like quote tweeted me to his entire page. I bet I got like 300 follows.
Oh my
That's
God,
awesome.
that's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved Tyson
That's
Chandler.
fun.
And who was it last night? Last night I told you. Oh yeah, I was on Instagram and
You
like
jumped on someone's live.
I got a deal and is like, John Branham is going live on Instagram. If you don't remember John Branham, he was the cowboy on The Real World Los Angeles. And so I was like, oh my gosh, that
Way before your time.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the
Like,
real.
yeah.
he's got blonde. He had blonde mullet, and he always wear like Garth Brooks shirts. And
You have to.
you remember him? And so he was going live, and I get on, and there was only like 4 people online with him, and I was like, I just sent him a message. I was like, hey, is it true that you played basketball, church league basketball against Nate Bargatze? And he was like, no, I didn't play against Nate. He goes, I was at the game whenever our church played his church. And so I'm sitting there chit-chatting with John Brenham.
Is that what he looks like now, John? I don't know. Because I mean, I would have remembered him from like the 90s.
No.
I
Yeah.
don't remember him.
Let's see.
I do love Nate Bargatze though, because
Oh
he's from
my-
Oh my
Nashville.
gosh,
So when I
yes.
looked at we were going to Nashville, I was like, oh, please let Nate Bargatze be playing in Nashville. And
Is he on tour?
Nah. Oh, he is, but
But
he's
not
in
there.
South Carolina and Georgia. And
I
Florida.
liked, yeah. That was a great.
He's so
yeah,
good
yeah.
though. God,
And I like him because I feel like I can relate to half of
Oh,
his
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, he's very relatable.
100%.
And
Yeah.
John loves Nate.
Yeah, we just
Loves
saw him
Nate.
in Vegas a couple of months ago, and God, it was so funny that I felt like I was trying to make myself stop laughing because I was afraid I was going to miss the next thing he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that when Burt Kreischer was at the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. We went. We took a buddy for his birthday, and at one point I was crying, I was laughing, and I was hurting. I was like, and I looked at Steph, and I was like, "You had to help me stop laughing. I'm gonna die."
Please tell me you
worst.
took your shirt off.
No, God, no. When you said Kool-Aid earlier, that's what I thought of too, because Burt used to take a half gallon of Kool-Aid to podcast every day, and he would drink a half a gallon
Oh, my
of
God.
Kool-Aid
Sick.
every day.
Oh,
And Kool-Aid's nothing but sugar.
Just straight sugar.
but it's good.
Yeah.
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 You remember we would get the sugar-free Kool-Aid, and they'd be these little tiny packets, or then you would get screwed up when you were a little kid because you're like, oh, I saw how Dad made Kool-Aid, and I'm gonna make my own Kool-Aid, and it'd be the Kool-Aid that was not sweetened yet, and you make a whole pitcher full of cherry Kool-Aid, and you take a drink, and there's no sweetness to it at all.
Yeah.
It's like biting into cocoa powder. I was a fat kid, so I was going for all the low-hanging fruit as far as sweet foods and crap like that.
My mom wasn't afraid to put sugar in sweet tea. She put so much sugar in sweet tea, you could feel the granules of sugar.
Oh,
Same. Ours, you could taste it. Like,
yeah.
I guess, yeah. Mhm.
You had a little grit in your teeth whenever you got finished drinking, and it wasn't leftover tea leaves. It was pieces of
Yeah,
sugar.
you just
like,
tons.
so
of
much sugar it couldn't dissolve.
I remember my grandpa would do that with the cereal too. Like we take heaping spoons of regular sugared cereal already, and then just
Still
yeah.
do that with
Yeah.
Cheerios.
Do you? Okay.
Can't eat
Yeah.
Cheerios any other way. Actually,
Your grandfather had a sweet tooth.
But 98 and still lived. I don't get it.
He was-
Perfectly healthy.
He would
I
have
can't
lived
eat
to
that
be over
healthy.
100 if he had not fallen. He fell and hit his head one day walking back to his office, and it went downhill from there. But he was 98 years old. He was sharp as a tack, and he read the newspaper every day. He knew what current events were. I remember something that happened where the Jonas Brothers were playing at Grapevine Mills Mall one day, and he was asking me about them. I'm like, I don't listen to that. Yeah. But yeah, he was so sharp. And I mean, he went to Six Flags when he was in his 80s and rode the roller coasters. And
But he had a dessert for dinner. But he also was one of the people that ate on a schedule. He would come home from the bank where his office was, but he would come home at 1:15. He'd have to have his lunch on the table,
Yeah.
1:15. And then dinner was right after he'd watch the stock market on the news. He'd turn off the TV, and then he'd come sit. But he would eat a dessert for dinner. It
And
wasn't
Chrissy's
like
grandmother, she would check her blood pressure until it
times a
got
day.
way high. She would check it like 7 times in a row until she got one of those alarming numbers.
Oh, go to
And-
the hospital.
Yeah, she'd have different machines. She's like, I'm not getting it high enough on this machine. Let me try it on this one. And so I had to take her to the hospital one time. And so I took her to the hospital, and they decided they were going to keep her that night. And I was like, oh, man, poor grandpa. He hasn't eaten. So I went to Whataburger and got him a Whataburger meal, and I took it over there. And you would have thought I would have caught him like doing something horrible, because he was in the kitchen. He had a half gallon of Bluebell ice cream in a headlock, and he had a big spoon, and he was just sitting there eating right out of the container. I was like,
Oh, well.
I got you some Whataburger if you want to stop. And but yeah, 98 years old, go for it, man. Yeah.
I can't help but wonder if part of that's because the heat, food today. Do you think food's killing us?
It's different. Yeah,
definitely.
totally. Yeah.
You think clean, organic, the way food was just better back then, or better for you. I wonder if that's what contributed to your.
It's got to
lifespan.
be, because I feel awful
Oh, yeah.
every day.
I mean, you are. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Every
John's.
day.
You gets up
And-
every day and sick and
Yeah.
having to get the doctors. And
Yeah.
we're going to Alaska, and he's like, I've got to figure out what's going wrong with me, because I can't. I'm sick every day.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah.
And then Madison too. Madison has issues. The other day we just had Olive Garden. And she literally was like, Mom, maybe I need to go gluten-free, because she's
100%.
like, Mom, I feel like I'm pregnant, and now my
Yeah.
stomach hurts. I'm like, that's
Oh,
not
God.
normal.
Her boyfriend
yeah.
was in town, too.
Shut
It's like,
up.
oh,
No,
Jesus.
she's not.
Her boyfriend.
No, he's a good kid.
Yeah.
He's so nice.
Her
Yes.
boyfriend.
Madison never dated in high school, and
Had no desire to.
College, she's got a boyfriend. He's a good guy too. We like him, and
Yeah.
he puts up with her shit. So
Wow.
And she's high maintenance. I
Is
don't know where
she?
she gets it
I
from.
don't know. I
God.
can't believe that.
I
That's
don't know
crazy.
I don't know who created that.
Wow,
yeah,
really?
yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
little
Shocking.
Chrissy.
Yeah.
Shocking.
But
there.
she dated one guy when she first got to college that we were like, okay. But you know how it is. You have to let them sit back and learn on their own. And then she slid into Jackson's DMs, and they've been dating.
Oh, she started it?
She slid into his DMs.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what you do now. You
Lord.
slide into DMs.
Sliding in the DM.
Yeah,
That
DM,
sounds
yeah.
awful.
Yeah, I
It does.
Yeah.
feel
Dad
like- I
doesn't
feel like
want to
you-
hear that.
I feel like you shouldn't talk about your daughter like that.
No, stop.
Good Lord.
God.
No, he's good, but he's from Oklahoma, so I think
Yep.
she's already said that she's probably going to stay in Oklahoma when she graduates.
Oh, really?
So if you have any connections in Oklahoma City or anything for
Nah.
jobs, okay, no,
I don't
never
like
mind.
people from Oklahoma.
Come on.
Dang. Okay, well,
How's Holden?
Holden's good. Yeah, he started football practice today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's
it's not
freaking
like-
hot outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever I played football, we didn't practice until the last 2 weeks of summer.
Yeah.
And
But then we practiced like our ass off.
yes,
Yes.
that's true. Y'all did,
Yeah.
yeah.
and so now they practice Tuesday through Thursday
Mm-hmm.
every week. And so yeah, and he loves it. Yeah, he's all like, I'm excited.
He's new position. They switched him from defense to offense. He's going to be a
really?
tight end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great new coach, new program. Everything's changed about the school.
It's exciting.
It's exciting. Like Denton High, it's going to be fun to watch. Like hashtag we will win.
It's
That's
funny
our
how many
hashtag.
rules there are around high school football now. Like you can practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as long as the temperature's between like 84 and 85.
And now they have an indoor practice facility. So
And whenever I was growing up, it was just like, all right, the rules are they can't die.
Yeah,
Yes.
seriously. Just get out there. Yeah, suck
If
it
they
up.
die, you're going to be in trouble. But everything else is
the
on
co-
limits.
the coaches would be over there resuscitating us over on the
Literally.
sideline because they haven't given us water. That's how they like punished us. It's
Yeah.
like, all right, if y'all aren't practicing hard, y'all don't get any water.
Yeah. Water makes you weak.
Yeah.
I used to just scream.
Oh,
at the top
God.
Of my lungs. I had one coach that would kick me in the ass every day when I walked into the locker room,
Coach Bodie.
just because.
Yeah.
Oh, Coach Bodie. Oh my gosh.
He
love Coach
literally. So I hurt my back when my sophomore year playing football. I hurt my back, and so I was going to the trainer, and they would do treatment, and then you'd have to go like walk around the football field to kind of get your body readjusted. And I'd walk by Coach Buddy still, and he'd be like, "Oh, here comes a Girl Scout," and kick me square in the ass. He was so mean, and so it was really fun. I got to tell this. This is an old banking story. So he would come in. He would come into the credit union, and I would see him coming, and I would go hide.
Yeah, John had like flashbacks.
I
PTSD,
did.
like
I
you were
did. I
scared,
had
yeah.
severe PTSD, and I would hide. And so I would go back into the break room, and I was back in the break room one day, and Brady comes back there, and he's like, he goes, "Hey, John," he goes, "I hate to do this to you, but Coach needs you." And I'm like, no. I'm not going out there. And he goes, "Well, he needs a medallion." And I was like, "Well, send him downtown." Me, Mr. Customer Service, is like, send him downtown. Like, send him out of here. And he goes, "Well, he came from downtown. They didn't have anybody that could do the medallion. So they sent him here." And I was like, okay. Oh, my God. And I walked out there, and bless his heart, Coach is blind. He's blind. He can see, but you got to be really, really close to him. So I'm sitting there doing his medallion. He's staring at me, and he's like, "I know you." And I was like, "Oh, God. Oh, God." He goes, "You used to play ball for me, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, Coach, I did." And he's like, "Oh." And he's the biggest sweetheart in the whole world.
Yeah.
He's just like the nicest fella, and his sons had moved him down to like Marble Falls area, and he called me, and we got in a relationship where we talked at least once a month, and still do.
Yeah.
And and his homeowners association had sent him a letter because he was outside of his front yard feeding the deer. There were deer like they would come down and he'd feed the deer, and that was against the HOA rules. And I'm like, who the hell do they think they're messing with? He's going to have out there running laps.
Poor bastard didn't know they were deer. He thought they were dogs. Can't see anything.
That's true. And he had gone out to his farm one day, and he found a baby goat, and the mother had died. And so he brought the baby goat, and the baby goat was living in his living room in a laundry basket. Yeah.
He's like Brooks in Shawshank Redemption.
Yes.
Just keeps weird things
Yes.
in his room for no reason.
Oh, poor Brooks.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
Coach Bodie.
Yeah. And so now with Coach Bodie, like, whenever I played football, you would stop and eat after a game. You'd go have like a nice dinner, not a super nice dinner. You go to like a Sizzler type of place.
Sizzler.
That's always good.
And so I call Coach, and they'll be like, "Hey, Coach, we're going to be in San Marcos." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, you got to go to Garcia's. Go to Garcia's." And I'm like, "Okay."
It was good.
And we've done that. We've gone to places that he told us, and they're fantastic. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Good old football. Well, hopefully you can keep them updated this year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's see how it goes.
For
It'll
sure.
be fun. It should be a fun year. I mean, it's a senior year, so we start applying for colleges this summer.
And I will say this, Coach Bodie said that Holden should move to tight end 2 years ago.
He did. Yeah, he
he's
said
like,
that. Holden's shaped like a tight end.
Yep. And so, yeah, he knows what he's talking about.
So I met you and I started working for you in April of 2008. When was Holden born?
Oh crap! January.
January
Yeah, so
2008. Yeah.
So he was like,
You've known Holden his whole life.
Yeah.
Wow.
That makes me old.
Does that make you feel old?
Oh, God, it's horrible.
Yeah, we've been touring colleges.
Yeah.
We got one more to go.
Mm-hmm.
He's officially toured OU, of course.
of course, duh.
And
That's
then
given.
Shocker.
we went to University of Minnesota, and we didn't go to University of Minnesota in June when it's like a nice 50 to 60 degree weather. We went in February whenever it was negative 14 degrees,
He loved it still.
and he loved it.
Oh, really?
Loved
yeah,
it. Loved
yeah.
it. Yeah.
And it was crazy. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I was telling them, I was like, when it's negative 14 degrees, it doesn't feel like as bad as you think it was. When it gets cold, there's only a certain point of cold that your body's like, okay, this is awful. Because it was like 30, 40 degrees here when we left, and it was bitter cold. And when we got there, we were all bundled up. But the second day, we would go out and had a sweatshirt on and jeans. And it'd be like negative degrees, and we were sweatshirt and jeans. Now, the only problem is we went and watched them play hockey one night, and we had to wait for a while to get our Uber.
That was cool.
And after sitting outside for a little bit, yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
But we knew it was going to be cold. I mean, there was snow on the ground everywhere.
Yeah, they said from
Ice.
October to April, there's usually snow on the ground there. From October to April, can you imagine?
And
I couldn't even. But
the Mississippi River was completely frozen over.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, the University of Minnesota sits right on the Mississippi River.
What town is it in?
Minneapolis.
Okay, it's in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's 2-hour flight.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the flight's not bad. And for him, he wants to do sports management. So they have 7 teams there that he can intern with.
Right.
So the
Yeah.
internship thing is kind of nice for him because he's got options.
there's a dude at North Texas. He works in the athletic department. His name's Tucker Natardi, and Tucker worked for the University of Minnesota's athletic department.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you need to talk to Tucker or have Holden talk to Tucker.
He is going to
Yeah.
apply at UNT. That's the only Texas school he's going to apply at.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's sports management. That
Yeah.
would be the only
Oh, yeah.
Texas school. He
And
said that
the
he
only
would.
reason Madison would not go to UNT is because they didn't ask her about her extracurricular. Madison was involved in everything in high school and all this volunteer work that she had done. And it was the only university that did not ask about that. She's like, well, if that's not important to them, I don't want to go there.
That's really why she didn't apply, because when she got the application, it was just about like the grades and which is, she had good grades, but she worked so hard on that she's
Right.
like, nope, I'm not gonna. I was like, okay, that was but
Yeah, she
and
went to
then-
Girls State. And
Yeah, and Holden's going to Boys State. That's what we were talking about. We drop him off this weekend in Austin.
Oh,
And
really?
he has to stay at UT campus. Mr. Boomer Sooner. I was
Oh,
like, please
God.
do not get in trouble where I get a call that you've done something stupid.
How long?
For
It's a week.
It's a week.
One
yeah.
week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One
It's
week.
going to be hard. Oh, it's.
I imagine he's going to, any free chance he gets, he's going to walk down the stadium and look for players.
Isn't
that
there like 1,200 boys?
talk smack to.
like-
He knows all these players too. Holden he's me. And so he follows all these kids as they're
Instagrams
being
and
recruited.
Twitter, whatever it is.
Yeah.
X.
And so, yeah. The night before the OU Alabama game, he was talking smack to all these people because they were saying, "Oh, Alabama's going to kill OU," and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna rush the field," and they're like, "Well, I hope you get arrested, and you won't. Don't worry, y'all aren't going to win." And so the first thing out of his mouth when we found him after the game was, "Oh, I got to go talk to these guys on Twitter. I got to go put it in their face," because he called it.
But that's what they said last night on the Boys State. They're like, hey, just FYI, if you've ever replied to anybody on Twitter, make sure you go delete something if it shows up negative against you. I'm like, oh crap, Holden.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they go in and when you're running for office, because it's they
Right.
it's a whole thing. They're gonna go find whatever dirt they can on you. And Holden's like, because he does. He is like a totally different kid on Twitter than he is
Yeah.
on Instagram and what you see him in real life. He talks crap.
You should have seen him at that Alabama game.
Talker.
At halftime, he's like, "Hey, Dad, can I go rush the field?" And I was like, "Yes, Holden, you can go rush the field, but we're not talking about it anymore until this game is over." I didn't believe the game was over until the last minute of the game, and we just dominated them.
Right.
And so the last minute of the game, he left, and we were just watching him. He's just standing down in the aisle, just waiting. And they dropped the goalpost down. With a minute to go, they cut the goalpost down, and a ton of fans. I mean, they rushed the field, and then they had to clean up the field and get everybody off, and then play the last minute of the game. So he's like, I didn't rush whenever they dropped the field goal.
He knew.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
he is a dedicated sports fan, and we're really excited this year because they've got a great football coach. I don't know if you know much about their new football coach.
I don't.
He was the head football coach at the University of Kansas whenever they beat Texas a couple years ago in Austin.
Eric Mangino?
No, Mangino. Mangino had dinner at Stacey Wallace's house.
Why?
He was the coach at Iowa State.
Oh, he was
Yeah.
recruiting
Yeah.
her son.
Yeah.
That,
Can you
golly.
imagine how much you'd have to feed that man?
Seriously, that dude was 500 pounds.
Easily.
He was ungodly large.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
He was the meanest man in the world. They had to let him go at Oklahoma because he was running the players off. He won a national championship, and he was running players off because he was so mean. And but yeah, so Holden, they got Coach Beatty, and he was there. And then I think the last year or two, he's been the wide receiver coach at Florida Atlantic. Whatever one's in Boca Raton.
He also was
Sorry,
coach at
Atlanta.
A&M for a while.
Yeah, he coached at the Aggies and
Did a lot of good recruiting
yeah,
there.
so he's friends with all these guys.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, it's funny because the first time I ever met him, I was like, "Hey, Holden's a little afraid to wear his Baker Mayfield jersey around you," and he's like, "Why?" And I was like, "Well, because of the Baker Mayfield Kansas game got to get out of hand." And he goes, I still don't know what happened on that game. He goes, me and Baker. He goes, I sat in Baker's living room. I recruited him. He goes, when I was at A&M, he goes, we were trying to get Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes. And then ultimately, Jackie Shipp, the coach, wanted Ken, I can't think of the quarterback, Ken, whoever they ended up going with
At Kansas?
at Texas A&M. So,
Kenny Pickett? No, that's not his name. It's
No. God, I just...
I can see him.
That's not like
Yeah.
you want blank. I usually don't.
And so he goes, I know Baker. He goes, as a matter of fact, he goes, I tell you what, I'm going to call Holden in my office like I'm going to get on to him. And he goes, I'm going to call Baker on his cell phone, and we're going to talk to Baker on the
Was
cell
it
phone.
Kyler?
No, it wasn't Kyler, but Ken...
Was it around that same time, probably,
I
right?
don't think of anybody that started with a K. I don't remember.
Yeah. Fun times.
Kenny Hill.
Kenny Hill, yeah. The
Thrill Hill.
Kenny the Thrill Hill, that's right.
Yep. And ultimately, that's probably the demise of Jackie Shipp right there. Instead of Patrick Mahomes getting Kenny Hill,
Oh, God. What a
God, can you
mistake.
imagine Mahomes at A&M
Oh,
Gosh, yeah.
you think
with Mike Evans?
you think they're insufferable now? God, if they'd have had Texas, if they'd have had
Oh,
Patrick
gosh.
Mahomes, God, you couldn't be able to stand it. Holy crap!
And that's coming from an Aggie fan. You had Aggie overalls, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Are you still
Well,
a hardcore
I grew up
Aggie?
in East Texas.
Yeah, that's
I root for them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun. It's when people say it's not a cult, they're lying.
That's a cult. It is a cult.
It's a
Yeah,
cult,
it's a
but
cult,
but nobody in the cult doesn't think it's fun to be in the cult, you know. So
Yeah.
it's fun. It's if you've been there, if you've been in part of Midnight Yell and doing the
Yeah.
Yell Eater thing, like it's fun. It's its own little thing. It's just like any other experience. If you went to OU and you did the college experience at OU, you'd go, man, that was cool. It doesn't matter if you grew up a Longhorn fan.
That's true.
If you can
Yeah.
get past
That's
that,
experience,
if
yeah.
you can get past that, you go, oh, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something about college football that's fun.
And a lot of people don't know that Chrissy's grandfather was a big-time football player at A&M.
I had an uncle that played there too.
Farmers Fight.
Yep.
Yep, good old Odell
Yep.
Stottenberger and Michael.
Yeah,
Yep.
we her grandfather played for Texas A&M and then went and played for the Buffalo Bills. And so one year, what the weird thing is his number was 32, which is OJ's number.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
We don't wear that much.
we we got on. I think it's Fanatics. You could get a personalized jersey made. So I got Holden a a football jersey, a Buffalo Bills football jersey with Stotzenberger put on the back of it, and the S had to like start at the bottom of the numbers.
Oh, yeah.
And it
14
like
letters
rainbowed
long.
all the way across the back of the.
Yeah. And I think we just got me one that said Stotts or something.
Yeah.
Because you're right, because you couldn't fit the whole Stotzenberger on there. Yeah.
It's like no more Garcia Parra when he played for the Red Sox. His name went all the way around the back of the.
Oh, no ma.
No more Garcia Parra.
So what is your favorite sport? Because you love sports too. Do you have a favorite?
Nowadays,
I mean, we know
it's-
you do golf.
Nowadays, it's golf.
Yeah. So let's talk about your
Oh my
experience in
God,
golf. Like
yes,
we have like
this
10 minutes
is-
left. Like this is a cool thing. Like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
super like VIP.
How did
important.
this all get started, by the way? Well, tell
Did
them
you- were you on
what you're
Twitter?
doing and how did it get started.
So I'm a volunteer for the Masters.
That's awesome.
So that's the end of the story. The start of the story was, so I guess it was probably 2010, and I started riding, or I started playing golf seriously in like 2007, and I started playing decently, and I was like, I want to play fun places to play golf. So I started, how do I play, or where do I want to go? Oh, well, duh, I want to go to Augusta National. I want to play at the Masters. Well, how do you do that? Well, the easiest way to do it is to know a member. Well, I don't know a member. If I knew a member, we wouldn't be having this conversation. The second easiest way is to volunteer. So I started researching how do you volunteer. So the easiest way to volunteer is the biggest group that's out there is called the Gallery Guard. There's about 475 of them. And I just started writing letters. So I wrote a letter every month for 13 years in total. But I did it for about 8 years. I found a phone number for a guy. I started bothering him. I started calling his house.
Stalking.
And I did. And his wife would answer.
Restraining order.
She'd answer and she'd go, hi, who's this? I go, this is Michael Tull. I'm looking for so-and-so. I want to volunteer for the Gallery Guard. Okay, I'll give him your number. I said, all right, sounds great. So next week I'd call her and, hey, just checking in. Want to see if I could.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not here, but I'll give him your message. Third week in a row, she goes, I gave him your message last week. Did he call you back? I said, no, ma'am, but no problem. Fourth week in a row, she goes, Tommy will call you tonight.
Don't ever call this house again.
That's basically what she was telling me. And I was at baseball practice with my oldest, so this is 8 years into writing letters, and my phone rings, and it says Augusta, Georgia. And I was like, hey, boys, I got to take this. So I get on the phone. He goes, hey, I understand you've been calling my house. What do you want? It's like, well, I understand, you're the head of the Gallery Guard. I really want to, volunteer for the Masters, yada, yada, yada. He goes, listen, I'm not your guy. You need to write letters to this guy.
Oh, God.
I said, okay, sounds good. Well, they published a list of all the people that basically run that committee. Well, he's the number one guy. So the number one guy is never the guy, right? It's like saying, hey, I want to go work in the mailroom. I'm going to reach out to the CEO. That's not really the way. You go to the guy that runs the mailroom. So he said, you got to go to this guy. So I started writing letters to that guy.
Did you ask the guy first? Did you say, hey, can you take all the letters I sent you and just put his name on it and just hand them to him?
So there's actually a funny tie to all that whenever I get there, so don't let me forget. But so I started writing letters to the other guy. He calls me. He goes, hey, son, I need your passport photo. I need a
Social
I need your
security
social
number.
security number. I need you to write a letter saying very specific things, yada, yada, yada. And I said, okay, you got it. So this is in the middle of COVID. So I overnighted it to him. And so him and I did that dance for 2.5, 3 years. And then in January of 2023, I got a phone call one day from what's now my supervisor on hole number 2, and he was like, "Hey, started talking to me like I should know what he was talking about." And I was like, "I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. What are you talking about?" And then he said Augusta National, and I was like, "Wait, what? What did you say?" He was like, "You're going to volunteer at Augusta National. You're on the Masters crew for the Gallery Guard." And I was like, dude, this is news to me." So he's like, well, you should have gotten an email from so-and-so at the club. And I said, I ain't got that email. So
Was it mancub@gmail.com?
Exactly, mancub@gmail.com. So he hung up the phone, and then I was like, oh, hell, he's not going to call me back. I'm never going to talk to this guy again. I screwed this up. Well, 10 minutes later, my email dings. There's the email. 2 minutes after that, hey, did you get the email? I know she sent it. I said, yes, sir, I got it. So I'm in. But after I go, the first time I go, I'm sitting there talking to the guy that I eventually was writing letters to. And he tells me that the gentleman that I had spoke to originally on the phone, that I was bothering his wife, he was like, Tommy's sick. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, I know you're a friend of the family of Tommy's, but he's not doing very well. Did you know he's not doing very well? And I was like, no.
You're a friend of the family.
I'm like, no, I'll reach out to the family. No, I didn't know he's not doing very well. Well, I guess the way that he had basically said, this kid's calling me, the gentleman that I ultimately spoke to that runs it, he took that as like, hey, put this kid in because I know him, but I didn't.
Wow.
I didn't know.
All that
Dumb luck.
persistence. Like,
So, yeah.
but you never gave up, and every single month you
Oh
flipping
yeah,
tried.
I'd do it.
That's
I'd write a letter every month for 13 more years just to do it one more time. It's the best. So I get to go every year. I get to go play it every year. It's
So my question is, do you like start like your knees lock every time Tiger Woods walks by you?
dude. So my first year, I was on the tee box. No. This is my second year. My first year I was on the green on Sunday. My second year I was on the tee box on Sunday. So when you're a rookie, so I was the youngest one in my group because I was only my second year. You know, other guys have been doing it for
Yeah.
10, 15, 20 years. So they were like, listen, the first 6 guys that come through, you know, whenever we're on the tee box, you get the first 6, and then priority, we get the guys that are the leaders, like right in the tournament. Like that's the goal, is to get those guys. Well, the second year I'm there is the year that Tiger is in third from last.
Oh.
So I got the first set of tee box, first set of guys, and one of those guys is Tiger Woods. So I'm on the tee box of number 2.
Did you do a jack to him?
Oh, dude, I've still got goosebumps just sitting there thinking about it. And I was from here to, I was 3 feet from Tiger Woods, and I'm just like, it's Tiger Woods. But he's playing with an amateur, and you could tell that the amateur was just as starstruck as I was because he got over the ball and he like set up to the ball, and Tiger kind of like looked at his caddy and said something, and the amateur, he wasn't talking to him at all. and the amateur heard Tiger speaking and stepped off, and he was like, "I'm sorry, what did you say something?" And Tiger was like,
You suck.
"Like I'm not talking to you. Why would I talk to you?" So yeah, I mean it's the coolest thing I do every year. And going and playing is one thing, but like going to the tournament every year and seeing all the guys that I know now and hanging out down there for the week with them is probably just as much fun as getting to go back and play.
So do you get to play it in tournament shape, or
It's always in tournament shape.
is it?
Yeah, it's always fast. I don't get to play the back though. So they have 2 sets of tee boxes. They have the Masters tees and then they have the members tees.
Oh,
so I get to play
wow.
I get to play the members tees. They don't. It's a pace of play issue. There's like 250 people that play on the day that I'm there. So there's a lot.
Now, that's changed because of Tiger, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say because they
It's
were
it's 1,000 yards
stacking
different.
up everything against him, and that sucks. That just because he's that dominant whenever he's young.
Yeah.
Now they moved the tee boxes back, and
Yeah, what's funny is that they tiger-proofed everything and they made everything longer. And really, the way to tiger-proof everything was to make it shorter because then everybody could still compete. And he was
Right.
he was going to outdrive everybody no matter what. Well, you were making it harder on him, but you were making it infinitely harder on the other guys. So he won more because they started trying to tiger-proof everything,
that's crazy.
which I'm a fan of. I love
Yeah.
Tiger Woods, but obviously my nickname was Man Cub for a long time.
Wonder how that came.
Yeah.
Must be another Datku story.
Oh, yeah.
All the Datku stories. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, Michael, you knew Michael was going to have a good day at the credit union whenever he had his red polo shirt on.
I did. Oh, man.
Like, man, this guy's going to sell a lot of credit cards today.
On Mondays, after Tiger Woods would win, I would wear a red Tiger Woods polo and black pants. I would dress just like he did on
Really?
Sunday.
Oh,
such,
God.
such an idiot.
Oh my God!
That's so cute.
But if the Cowboys lost, there
Oh,
was
you
a
had to
group
go there.
text
I'm
that was going
sorry.
on without Michael. I'd be like, "Oh my God, the Cowboys lost. Tomorrow's gonna suck." And I was just sitting there rubbing my hands together. I'm gonna get into him right away.
So mad. I still remember. So I was working. Remember whenever Tiger won the U.S. Open in 2008?
Yeah.
I was 3 months into that job, and we were sitting there watching Tiger Woods win the U.S. Open against Rocco Mediate in that 18-hole playoff on Monday.
Oh my gosh.
I vividly remember sitting there watching that on the computer.
God, those were fun days.
They were.
Yeah, they were fun days. We got a lot of stuff done, regardless of our playing around and doing stuff.
You had a fun work environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't all just straight, here's the
yeah.
rules, and yeah.
Yeah, when people were in there, we were working our ass off, and when people weren't out of there, weren't in there, we'd be in there just joking our ass
Yeah,
off. I mean,
and the crazy thing is there was no like level of wittiness that changed because it didn't let down at all with us talking smack because we had Shauna and Amy and they could talk smack with the best of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, it was fun. Amazing we didn't get fired, but
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Almost. It was the fun game. So obviously I was in college, and then some of the other guys would be in college, and we would always play the game whenever a cute girl would walk into the credit union. It was always like you'd see the cute girl walking in, and all the younger guys would try to lock eyes, and you'd either give each other like a nod or a no. as to what your opinion was.
Oh, that's fun.
Still remember that.
Yeah, we used to do
times.
some crazy stuff.
And now what is that? What is it going to be there now?
I have no idea.
Didn't you hear?
I
a
thought I
coffee
heard Tim
place?
Hortons.
Like maybe a new
Yeah,
Commander
the-
coffee. That's what here. Like
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what I
know if
heard.
that's true, but yeah.
My only Tim Hortons
need to mow
experience
it.
was so embarrassing. Yes, they really
Good
do a lot of
Lord.
stuff over there. It's rough
It looks
over
rough
there.
over there. Yeah, I agree.
All right, brother. Well, thank you for coming
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
So much fun.
Oh,
We
yeah.
love you, Michael.
I could do it
Tull.
for 2 more hours.
I know.
Yeah.
That's seriously, yeah. Yeah,
Just
same
like
thing.
Cheryl.
Yeah,
We had Cheryl
yeah.
here last.
We'll just have to do another one like in
Yeah.
fall. Like,
Yeah.
like with sport. Like, yeah, y'all could
Yeah.
talk when the
Football.
sports, football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime. Thanks for having
It'll
me
be
on. I
fun.
appreciate
We just
it.
got to make sure the Cowboys win that week, right?
No doubt. And if Tiger Woods is back,
And
we're
the
rolling.
Sooners.
We're going to have all the energy.
This will be fun. Thank you.
Thank you,
We love
guys.
All
you.
right, mate.
All right.
Take care.
Appreciate
Bye bye.
it.
Bye.
Hey, it's Chrissy, the realty queen. Buying, selling, staging, she's the best you've ever seen. Oh, it's Chrissy, the OG Denton realtor. She's your one-stop shop, local expert and more. It's Chrissy Mallouf, and she does it all with a smile. It's Chrissy.